All right, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to grab is this pancake mix for $1.97, the just add water kind. Then $1.97 for this paprika, 97 cents for a can of crushed tomatoes, $1, which is a great steal for this big bag of macaroni noodles. Then we've got some ketchup for $1.97, 17 for a can of tuna, and that's going to be the last item that we get at Walmart. Let's move on to independent. We're going to start with $14.99 for this mild Italian sausage large package, then $7.19 for salsa, $3.59 for this bag of cumin seed. Because we're getting one bag of berries, we're going to be spending the full $4.99 for one bag of 4-berry blend. We're getting 2 vegetables, so we're getting the corn and jalapeno and the petite peas, both for $9 because we're purchasing 2. I did intend to get a cheaper brand, but unfortunately they were sold out, so I had to get this brand, but I like it better anyway. Then we've got bananas for 79 cents a pound. I get exactly 1.5 pounds, as you can see. And lastly, I get some mushrooms for $4.99 a pound. I get about 1/4 pound of mushrooms in the end. I put a few back here after weighing them. All right, so here's my receipts. At Walmart, I spent $9.05, and at Independent, I spent $40.63. I just wanted to explain a few of the things. So, I got the huge salsa because I know I can freeze it, and they didn't have the little ones that I wanted to get. Usually they're like 2 for $6 or something, and they didn't have it, so I just decided to get the big one. The other thing was I got these cumin seeds because they didn't have regular cumin. The regular cumin they had, it was in a really small container and it was way more expensive. I got the corn with jalapeno and the peas. I was just gonna get the cheap corn and peas. They're 2 for $6, but they didn't have any again. So I got the corn with jalapeno because the recipe calls for jalapeno anyway. I was gonna just leave it out. So I thought that worked out a little better. I paid an extra $1 for those, and this berry blend was supposed to be $4.99 each, but I see now that it's $5.49 each, which was not supposed to be the case. And the sausages, I was thinking ahead. You'll see that I don't use them too much this week, but I am going to use them for my next week's challenge, and so that's why I got the big pack of sausages. Now I think all this is pretty self-explanatory, so yeah, that's what I spent, and I'll show you the meals right now. Okay, so for breakfast for a few days, I'm going to do pancakes with some toppings. So I'm just following the directions on the back of the box, and if this will make 2 days worth, so I don't have to make them again tomorrow. So I've got a cup of pancake mix, and then I'm going to put the 3/4 cup of water, and I've got some of my berries and my peanut butter from last time. Now, if you guys haven't seen my challenge from last time, you're gonna have to go back and watch that because I've been building the ingredients for a pantry with each of these challenges, spending $50 a week. So, and I've also put some of my oil in the pan here ready to cook up the pancakes. So I'll go ahead and get all that done, and I'll show you the breakfast at the end. So here it is, and then here's my ones for tomorrow. Just got a little bit of peanut butter on there and the berries, and I like them just like that. I prefer them with chocolate pancakes, but this is great. All right, so I'm going to show you how I make my breakfast granola that I'm going to try to use as cereal. So I'm going to put 2 cups of the oats in that we had from last time. Actually, I should probably half the recipe. So I'm actually going to do 1 cup. Then we're going to do about a little more than 2 tablespoons. Let's do 3 tablespoons of honey. Again, we had that left over from last time. And then we're going to do a full 1/4 cup of peanut butter. And then I've already got my greased pan beside me here, and I'm just gonna lay it flat in there. I've got the oven at 350, and I'm gonna go ahead and cook it for about 10 minutes. All right, so here is one of my breakfasts. This is the granola underneath. Now, I would suggest cooking it a little more than I did, just to make sure it's crispy so that it doesn't disintegrate when you put the milk in. And then I've just cut up a banana, And then I'm gonna go ahead and put some of my soy milk on top that we have left over from last week. It was sort of like making your own cereal was kind of my idea with this. So yeah, that's breakfast. All right, so this is my big package of sausage. I've got 4 sausages here ready to freeze. And remember, this is like a pantry stock up challenge as well as a try to, you know, save money each week. Now, I normally spend about $200 a week, so this is a huge grocery cut for me. But that is for my whole family, whereas I'm just doing this challenge for me. But I've got my sausage here for another challenge. I'm cooking them without cases here in the pan. Hopefully it's not too loud so that you can't hear me, but I'm cooking them without the cases, and I'm going to make them into like a ground sausage texture. And that's because I'm going to use it for spaghetti, and I'm also going to freeze some of it for a recipe coming the next challenge. So while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prep some of my ingredients here for the rest of my pasta. I'm going to use a bit of garlic, some of those mushrooms I got, celery, and onions. So I'll chop all those up and go ahead and start making my pasta sauce with our crushed tomatoes. So instead of using more oil, I went ahead and dumped some of the fat from the sausage into my bigger pan so that I can cook the onions and garlic and celery beforehand. Just give them a little saute before we go ahead and add the sauce and the spices and everything. And I'm also cooking my noodles. So once again, my portion sizing was right on target. Not even close. So I actually have enough here for 3 meals of the pasta and enough for my tuna salad. So half the package is good for basically 6 meals for one person, in my opinion. This is like a serving size that I would normally eat. Cooking my vegetables in here, and then I'll go ahead and add the sausage and the crushed tomatoes and those Italian seasoning spices. Storing all my ingredients in this box, but we have some Italian seasoning from last time, and I'll add some pepper as well. Now this is totally a preference thing, but this is the sauce, and I'm gonna add a little bit of honey to mine just because I like it a little bit sweeter. All right, so this is the finished result. I'm gonna eat this one right now, and then these 2 are for the next 2 days. I did take out 200 grams of that cooked sausage, like I said I was going to. I reserved about, it's supposed to be about 2 tablespoons. There's probably like a little more there, but a little more won't hurt the dish that I'm making with that. And then here is the rest of the pasta sauce I have. So that will do me another 4 meals probably for another challenge. So that's great. Whew. Okay, so we're going to be making some bean burritos. I'm cutting this recipe in half because I only want 4 of them, and it does make a lot of filling. Sorry, it's all stained at the back there, but this is the recipe that we're going to be using. The only exceptions we're making is we're using tomato sauce instead of tomato paste. We're using white beans instead of pinto beans, and the jalapenos coming from the corn, and obviously we're substituting the cheese for soya cheese, and also we are eliminating the sour cream. So I have chopped some of my onion and my garlic. I've got my corn and jalapenos here ready to thaw, as well as that tomato paste or tomato sauce. Now with this cumin seed, I just stuck it in my like little Ninja and ground it up because I wanted it to be more like cumin powder. This is a ton, I mean that'll last forever. So we're gonna be using the vegetable oil to cook some of this in a minute. But first I'm gonna go ahead and start my rice. I've got 1/4 cup and 2 tablespoons in there, so half the amount of rice. And then I'm just cooking my white beans here in my Instant Pot. They aren't soaked or anything. I'm gonna just cook them in the water right from the bag. It's the beauty of having an Instant Pot. Of course, you could do it the traditional way if you don't have an Instant Pot and soak them overnight and then boil them in a pot on the stove. But we are gonna go ahead and pressure cook them for 25 minutes. Okay, so I just got the oil and the onion and the garlic cooking in here. We're gonna add the spices. So we're gonna add a little bit of salt. Whoa, that was a lot of salt. Oh no. Gotta get some of it out. Really fast. Well, hopefully it won't be too salty. We're gonna add a little bit of the pepper. And finally, some of that cumin seeds. Some of those cumin seeds that are ground up. And I'm gonna let this cook for about 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure this is a Martha Stewart recipe. So what I've done here is I've melted in that tomato sauce and added my corn. And I've actually shut the burner off because I have to wait for the beans to finish. We're gonna add the beans and then we're gonna add a little bit of the bean liquid. You guys are always telling me to do that, so I'm gonna give that a try. I'm gonna add 3/4 of a cup of the bean liquid and the beans, and then we're gonna simmer it for 10 minutes on medium heat. And then I'll show you how to assemble the burritos. So I've also gone ahead and taken my big thing of salsa and put it in these little baggies so that I can stick these in the freezer for future meals. I've got 5 bags here of the salsa for future, and then I've just kept in this container what I thought I would use for the 4 meals of the burritos, because we're gonna be having that 4 times. So, okay, so you can actually assemble these and then in the tortillas, wrap them up and freeze them like that. I've done that before. I don't like that as much because the tortilla gets soggy. So how I actually freeze them is I just freeze the 1/4 cup of cheese, the 1/4 cup of rice, and the 3/4 cup of the bean mixture. And then I freeze it in little baggies and then I dump it onto a tortilla when I'm gonna eat it. So I've got my 1/4 cup of cheese. I'm gonna add my 1/4 cup of rice. And then I'm gonna spoon my bean mixture on top. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and roll it up. All right, so we're making the honey garlic pork chops. I've got my oil heated in the pan here. Put some of our oil in. And now I'm just gonna put my pork chops plain in for now. We're gonna marinate them kind of halfway through. I just don't want the marinade to burn, so that's why I'm kind of doing it halfway. I've also got my 1 cup of rice cooking on the stove here at the same time that I cook my pork chops. Alright, so I've got my garlic already chopped and in the bowl, as you can see. And I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of ketchup, about 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm probably not gonna measure that, and about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce as well. And then I'm gonna whisk that all together. So I'll just show you here. So I've got my remaining 3 pork chops cooking there. And this is what 1 serving of that meal would look like with the rice and the sides. So I just heated in the microwave the corn and the peas and 2 pork chops. So I'm gonna have this for 3 days. Okay, so we're gonna be making a tuna pasta salad basically. And what I've done is have chopped onion in here, chopped celery, and then little pieces of that soya cheese. And then I've got my cooled macaroni noodles. Dump in there. Okay, so I've got my macaroni noodles in there. Obviously, I'll break those up. And then we're gonna add some mayonnaise, the tuna, and some spices to this. So we're gonna add some of our paprika, some of that Italian seasoning, just a little bit, and some of the pepper. This is our mayonnaise that we have left over from last one, the last challenge, or the one before that, I can't remember. And I've got my tuna that I'm gonna dump in there as well. So this is the macaroni salad. It's so good. I tried to buy it. I can't wait to eat it. Okay, so here's everything we have left. We've got our 5 bags of salsa, spaghetti, 1/2 a bag of macaroni, some rice back there, our yeast. We've got our little bit of celery, which I'm assuming will last you into the 3rd week. I'm going to use it a little bit for the next one. And if not, then maybe you'll have to repurchase that or leave it out or whatever. But usually my celery lasts quite a few weeks. Then we've got about 1/2 a container of oil, about 1/2 a container of honey. We've got a lot of oats in there, lots of pancake mix, 1/2 a bag of beans still. We've got 1/2 a block of spinach, our 4 sausages, our pie crust, the 2 wedges of lemon, the 2 packages of broth, the cooked sausage, and the 2 really freezer burn at this point pork chops, but they won't be for you if you're doing this several weeks in a row. I'm still gonna use them. I don't mind if they're a bit freezer. We've got a little bit of our berries, about half the bag of corn, and about half the bag of peas. We've got soy sauce, ketchup, baking powder, lots of mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, mustard, lots of peanut butter left still, salt, balsamic vinegar. We've got our cumin back there, paprika, Italian style, pepper, and cinnamon. Then we've got our pineapple, sugar, and our lots of flour back there still too. So definitely give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed this challenge. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell too so that you'll be notified of all of my future videos. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.